Tesla, Elon Musk, and his companies, and future shareholder wealth. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. So SpaceX just had a 10th effort or attempt to make the Starship succeed, and they actually finally succeeded on the 10th attempt. They launched, and the Starship separated from the heavy booster mostly successfully. So I thought I would cover Elon Musk a little bit, especially the companies he started, future shareholder wealth. And I wanted to mention this book, Self-Made in America by John McCormack. McCormack is spelled M-C-C-O-R-M-A-C-K. John McCormack. So you have to have that particular perspective that's described in that book to not be sort of frustrated or intimidated by the level of success Elon Musk has had. He's an immigrant. He's a first generation immigrant. And this book by John McCormack, Self-Made in America, discusses that perspective, why those types of people succeed. So because otherwise you kind of get blown away by this level of success that one person seems to have been able to pull off. So let's get into it. Musk tends to love companies. That's pretty obvious from his behavior. He operates several large businesses. He's had very few false starts. He launches or acquires and then improves companies. He either starts a business from scratch or he buys an existing one. Then he improves until the company is profitable, with a couple of exceptions that I'll get to. His number one key skill, he's really good at selecting what has a large customer base, potentially. What has a large dollar value at time of sale? What can I charge a lot for? What is fairly new and hard to compete with? He's really good at selecting things that are new, have a large audience, and are expensive. So they can become profitable eventually. So a list of his companies. Robotaxi, kind of just getting off the ground in San Francisco and Austin, Texas. I believe right now those two cities are invite only, mostly for influencers. Starlink satellites, he's distributing internet access all over the globe. SpaceX, which is launch service, sort of a discount NASA, an affordable way to launch things into space. Neuralink, which is brain implants for people who are disabled. The Boring Company, which is basically tunneling, and in the early days produced 20,000 units of a flamethrower. It was a $500 unit. If you get one of those, hold on to it. That's probably a collector item. Of course, Tesla electric car company. That's already public. Energy storage and capture. He's got those huge panels, energy panels, off the grid, energy backup. Optimus humanoid robot. He's gone into the robot business with Optimus. He bought Twitter. He took it private, converted it to X.com, and added Grok artificial intelligence. So just one of these ventures would be a tall order for a group of startup fiends who are raising money. But he has been able to pull all these off. So again, Self-Made in America, John McCormack, is a book that discusses the immigrant perspective on what they see as the risks and the opportunity when they first come to the U.S. That most American-born citizens do not understand. They do not perceive the opportunity. This guy obviously perceives a lot of opportunity, and he's turning it into success. Now, I should say that this book, Self-Made in America, these people do not think in terms of 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Musk, for example, was sleeping on the shop floor, the factory floor in Fremont, California. My wife and I were living in Silicon Valley, a few miles from that plant, at a time when he was sleeping on the factory floor when Tesla was having some problems. So these immigrant folks, they tend to work very hard. So this is how Musk tends to operate. He will build a new company and find customers. Or he will buy an existing company that already has customers. Twitter was such an example. He will, he will fine-tune the company. He really goes to work on customers, attracting customers, profitability, what sort of investment will be needed to get the company profitable. And then he sort of intends to make each business independently successful. If you look at these companies, they're all sort of unto themselves. There's not a lot of overlap. Is there any overlap between a social media website and electric car? No. What about energy storage and capture and Neuralink? Not a lot of overlap. So most of these companies are sort of standalone ideas almost. So each company could be a spin-off. So for shareholders, if you own Tesla stock, if you own stock in one of his ventures, chances are pretty good that he is going to spin these off at some point in the future. He's gotten really good at delegating, obviously, over the years. So I would expect most of these companies are going to be spun off. He will probably take Twitter or X.com public again. Once he nails the profitability part of all these companies, he's got the makings of a great holding company. With IPOs, most of these will go IPO probably. So has he had any failures? Hyperloop, he sort of walked away from that. The cost of the land, the cost of the equipment was a bit much. It was different from what he expected. The demand for that sort of travel may not have been there, not what he expected. He may have liked the technology, but for as a business, it was not such a great idea. He also had financial struggles at SpaceX and Tesla, both of which almost went under. So this is a guy that, he had a huge success with PayPal. He made 165 million after taxes, about 140. He plowed most of that into SpaceX, starting SpaceX and acquiring Tesla, the car company. So that's what an immigrant would do. That is not what a U.S. citizen. Most U.S. citizens, if they made 140 million in their 30s, would say, "I'm done. I'm putting this into treasuries. I'm going to live off the income." But this immigrant perspective is, okay, I have I've got working capital. Let's apply that to new risk-taking ventures, and it really worked out for him. He's got all these companies he can take public. He can create spin-offs. Each company can have an IPO. Shareholders should benefit. And he's got the makings of a great holding company if he takes all these public, turns them into public companies. So I would jump on board Tesla stock and stay there and not sell it, regardless. So success stories for immigrants. Immigrants take risks to come to the U.S. They don't know, you read about the U.S. when you are from a foreign country. You have certain expectations. It still is a lot of risk to move, to pull up stakes, leave your home, and move to a new country. So immigrants have the courage to do that. Musk was a first-generation immigrant, and very few people would have the success of PayPal and then redeploy all that capital into SpaceX and into Tesla. Very few. But you can't be intimidated by this particular personality. If you read this book, Self-Made in America by McCormick, John McCormick, or a similar book that focuses on the immigrant expectations for taking risk and making a successful business in the U.S., you will sort of understand his mindset, Musk's mindset, and how he was able to do this. Because if you think about it, just a robo-taxi business alone would be very taxing, a huge endeavor for most of us to get working. The logistics, driving usage when there are already competitors like Uber and Lyft. But this is the immigrant mentality. So over the long term, this is going to build a lot of shareholder wealth. These will become IPOs. He will spin these off. And those of us who own stakes in his ventures will probably benefit, most likely. So if you have any questions about this, I came across this book a long time ago, Self-Made in America. And I understood what I read there, but as far as the work ethic and the risk-taking, some of it was, a step beyond what I was thinking of in terms of what would be necessary in the U.S. to become successful. And so high roller mentality, basically. So if you have any questions, please post in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. This is a great success story. Elon Musk, just a fantastic inspiration and example for all of us. So I really want to thank everyone for watching. Have a great day.